Good morning and welcome to the Brackesbaum Computer Consulting monthly webinar series. My name is Kelly Bergman and I have the pleasure of introducing you to Tyler Bremner, Draycir's Global Partner Manager. She is here today to show you Credit Hound and how it can benefit your business by automating your processes in AR. As always, if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to put them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. I'll either interrupt Tyler during her presentation or we'll hold all questions to the end depending. So with that, Tyler, I'm going to let you take it away.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you all for joining the session today. As Kelly said, I'm Global Partner Manager here at Draycir, and I'm really excited to be able to show you all today how you can get paid faster with both Credit Hound, for both Sage 100 and Sage Intacct. So it's all about improving efficiency within your organisation and increasing your cash flow. I'm just going to take my video off now that we've got through that because I'm going to go through some slides and then I'll head into the product demo. Okay. So just to give you a bit of an agenda for the session. So I'll be covering off a little bit about who we are at Credit Hound, some of the most common accounts receivable business challenges which you might be facing, and how Credit Hound can help solve those challenges. Then we'll jump into a short demonstration just to show you exactly how Credit Hound works, and then we can move on to next steps. So all in all, the presentation will probably last between 30 to 45 minutes. So yeah, as Kelly said, pop your questions in and we can always come back to those at the end. So who are Draycir? So we, as you can probably tell by my accent, we're a UK-based company and we have a development office over in Thailand as well. We've been running for over 20 years and we've actually been working with Sage since the very start, and through the channel globally, helping customers to improve their cash flow all over the world. So Credit Hound is used by thousands of organizations and they all vary in size. We have some very, very small businesses using Credit Hound just, to automate the kind of chasing side of things. But then we have some really large enterprise businesses with, teams of 30 AR staff using Credit Hound day in, day out to help get paid faster. We integrate with many of the Sage products. Obviously today we'll be focusing on 100 and Intacct, but we also work across X3, Sage 300, Sage 50, Sage 200, as well as other ERPs. So we really do have a wealth of knowledge and resource internally to help customers across the board. So that's enough about us. So just want to give you a little bit of an insight into some reasons as to why having an automated accounts receivables process in place is so important. So firstly, 1 in 10 invoices are paid late. I've got absolutely no doubt that that's something all of you will have experienced at one point or another. If you're sending out high volumes of invoices every month, that's going to have a massive impact on your cash flow. And then on the other end of the spectrum, those with lower volumes of invoices, they're impacted equally because you rely on that cash flow to run your business. 93% of businesses experience late payments from their customers, and it really is a widespread issue globally. And we've got customers in every single continent experiencing exactly the same problems. And that then results in them spending on average, I think the figures change now that I've got on the screen, so 14 hours per week. It's about a couple of days a week chasing late payments now. And most of that time is spent on really long-winded administrative tasks, as opposed to actually chasing payments. So, from things like running an age debtor report and manually going through, emailing and calling customers, that's all really time consuming and completely avoidable. And then unfortunately, on average, companies end up writing off about 1.5% of their receivables as bad debt. So for a $50 million company, that is $750,000 a year wasted. So you can start to now picture the return on investment something like Credit Hound can provide to you as a business. Now, these are some examples of how some of our customers were dealing with their outstanding payments before implementing Credit Hound. And again, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to relate to one, if not more of them. So when we think about how we're going to start tackling our list of overdue invoices, one of the, in theory, most logical ways of chasing would be to prioritise the largest debt first. But what ends up happening is the smaller value invoices might never then get chased, and it could even result in them getting written off. And then similarly, chasing payments that are most overdue, because again, theoretically, that would make sense, but that's a really reactive approach, and it will just result in the newer invoices not being paid on time and then falling further and further into that overdue category. So we'll just always end up chasing our tail. Some businesses have to increase overdrafts from the bank or even borrow money just to keep the business afloat. Writing off very old debt, which really it's just throwing hard-earned cash down the drain. A lot of businesses end up employing more staff or outsourcing collections to a third party, which is a very expensive way of dealing with the problem. And you just end up paying more money, but you have the same process, and therefore you just have the same challenges. And then in some cases, businesses can no longer offer credit to their customers due to a lack of cash flow. So that can really negatively impact customer loyalty and might make potential competitors seem more favourable as well. So let's take a look at this little diagram here. So just looking on the left, so before Credit Hound, you're sort of stuck in a cycle of chasing down late payments, spending countless hours managing your accounts receivables. From everything like mentioned, running age debtor reports, struggling to keep your notes up to date, writing emails and letters, following up phone calls that you've made previously, trying to manage disputes. All of that really causes frustration, and it involves spending 80% of your time on admin and only 20% of your time actually chasing late payments. Whereas if you start using Credit Hound, you'll automate all of those real admin heavy tasks. So it's all about effortless chasing of late payments and ensuring all of your invoices are chased and that they get paid on time. So with a much smoother cash flow and less stress, you're then free to focus on what really matters, which is, increasing your cash flow and achieving your overall business goals. Okay, so then what is Credit Hound and how can it help? So ultimately, Credit Hound's all about streamlining your accounts receivables processes to ensure timely payments, reduce the amount of late payments, and maximize your cash flow. So just picture it as having a little sidekick who handles all your credit management tasks, from everything from chasing down late payments to keeping the cash flowing smoothly. So you just basically let Credit Hound do the heavy lifting whilst you focus on growing your business. Now, obviously, return on investment is going to be absolutely key when you're considering implementing any new software. So we've made it extremely easy for you to calculate how much you can save annually. So on this example here, so for a $5 million annual turnover business, they're able to save $70,000 per year. Feel free to go to our website. So the link's on the screen right now. You just input a couple of details and it calculates how much your business might be able to save with Credit Hound as well. Really useful calculator. Okay, so let's get to the fun bit where we can go through Credit Hound in action. So this here is Credit Hound. So you'll notice, first of all, it is browser based. Okay, so we access Credit Hound from, you can use Chrome, you can use Internet Explorer, whatever it is. But the key thing to point out is it sits outside of Sage 100 or Intact. So super, because it being cloud-based, it's super duper easy to install, very easy to configure. And most customers, you know, they're up and running within a couple of hours. It's really quick. So what we can see here on the dashboard is all of our key metrics, all of our key financial information that we're going to want to know. So first of all, how much outstanding monies we have. So we've got 1.7 million in total, of which 767k is not yet due. We've got just over 1 million overdue, 58k in dispute, and then some payments that haven't been allocated as well. So because Credit Hound synchronizes with your accounting system, and it works the same way for both Sage 100 and for Intact. So as long as your accounting system's up to date and payments have been allocated, then that will be reflected into Credit Hound as well. Okay. What we can also see is Vinny's receivables, and we can click into these different segments if we want to. So if I just want to see my 90 days plus, I can go into that. If I want to, I can then export that information to Excel. So some just quick and easy data to get a hold of. We can see who has our money, where our money's sitting. So just a nice visual really to understand. Obviously this big red segment is the bit that we want to focus on. Then we have our green segment, which is not yet due, and then disputed and non-allocated. So clearly a lot of work to be done here. We've got $1 million sitting in overdue and we need to get those paid. So how are we going to do that? First of all, we are going to set up some collection paths. So when you install Credit Hound, the first thing that you're going to want to determine is how you chase your customers. So is it a one size fits all? So we just want to chase all of our customers at the same frequency, you know, same email wording, all of that good stuff. Or do we want to split our customers into kind of different categories? For example, have we got, you know, a group of customers that are particularly good at paying that we don't want to chase because, you know, they pay us on time every single month. We have great relationships with them, and actually sending reminders to them is only going to annoy them? Or do we have, on the other end of the spectrum, our bad payers who notoriously pay us late, that we perhaps want to chase a little bit more frequently? So yeah, that's what you need to kind of have a think about, and try and understand how you want to chase your customers. And then you're going to want to set up a collection path. So if we use that example that we used just now, so where we have good and bad payers, so we'll do this for the bad payers. I can give it a description. I can choose what days of the week I would like these emails to be sent. So, for example, we can take out the weekend if we don't want any reminders going out over the weekend. We can then also filter by transaction amount. So a lot of our customers, because of rounding issues, they have very, very nominal amounts left on invoices. So they might only want to chase $5 and over instead of, you know, sending out reminders for $1 here and there. But that's completely up to you. And then we're going to set up some actions. So these are the emails that are going to get sent out. So what we've done here, we've set a number of actions up, and you'll see that this first one actually goes out 7 days before the invoice is due. Now, the reason we do that and why it's so effective is because most customers that we speak to, they struggle to be proactive with their AR. It's no secret, you know, it's something that's why they end up speaking to us, because they're struggling with it. So what ends up happening is they only start to chase an invoice when it's already past due. Okay, and what Credit Hound is all about is getting paid on time, not after the date it's due. So with a preemptive reminder, so with this email going out 7 days before the invoice is due, what it does is it buys you some time. So a week before the invoice is due, that customer's going to get an email to let them know, you know, invoice number, blah, 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 needs to be paid by X date. Any issues, let us know. So if they then have any queries, any disputes, anything, you know, need a copy of the invoice, whatever the usual suspects are, it buys you 7 days to deal with that and still get paid on time. Okay, so that's where we want to be. Now, if I open edit email, what we can see is in the email body, we've got fields such as contact name, transaction type, etc. That's all going to pull through from your accounting system. Okay, so these emails are going to be completely tailored to the recipient. Now, if that invoice doesn't get paid, what's going to happen is a friendly overdue reminder is then going to get sent out a day after the invoice is due. Now, these timeframes are completely customizable. So as you can see in here, we can schedule it for 3 days later, 4 days later, whatever it is that you want. And they're just going to get a slightly different worded email. Now, if that still doesn't get paid, another email is going to go out 7 days after the invoice is due, and so on and so forth. And you can actually have as many actions as you like. So that will continue to chase on your set cadence. So you can see here, every week, they're going to get an email. Now, the idea is they get paid, they pay that invoice more at this end, but there could be many reasons why they're still continuing to not pay. But I think the main thing with those ones is that they're continuously reminded that we don't want it getting forgotten about, and we don't want to end up having to write it off. So it could be that, you know, you're dealing with a dispute that might be taking a bit of time to sort internally, and therefore that's why the invoice isn't getting paid. Okay, so that's the automated part of what we'll do. So again, you can just imagine, so again, just think about your own AR process. How do you go about doing collections? And if you think about all those initial contacts, the email reminders, the phone calls that you're making to those, you know, however many invoices you're sending out on a monthly basis, think about the amount of time spent just simply reminding them that they need to make a payment. Well, Credit Hound takes all of that out of the equation for you. Now, what it's not going to do necessarily is replace a human being. So there's going to be times where somebody needs to manually intervene and help that customer with whatever issue it is that they're facing. So if I come out of that and go into my customer tab, so we've got this customer tab here. All of your customers will be listed here. You can see we've got a number of columns that you can go through and filter if you want to. So if you only want to see certain customers or certain balances, whatever it might be, you can just filter there, and it does it quickly and easy for you. Let's clear all filters. And again, that's exportable to Excel as well. So we'll go with this account here. So when I click into the customer page, what I can see is all the information I'm going to need as somebody getting prepared to make a phone call to this customer. So I can see what their balance is, how many invoices that's over, how close they are to their credit limit, how many overdue invoices they got and the value, how many disputes they've got as well, and over how many invoices. And I can also see how much money they've promised to pay us as well. Okay, what you'll see on the right-hand side is an activity panel. So any contact I've had with this customer is going to be displayed here. So I can see who made the contact. So if there's multiple people in the team, we can see who's done it, when they did it, and what it was about. So we can see 16 hours ago, I created a promise, spoke to Hayley Bass at this company. She promised $710 by bank transfer. Easy peasy. So again, if you've got a team of people, somebody's off sick or somebody's on holiday, we've got a complete audit trail of everything that happens on their customer accounts. Then in this section here, what we've got is a list of all of our transactions. So obviously anything red is overdue, anything green is not yet due, anything yellow is disputed. Okay, so if I want to call this customer about, let's say, these invoices here, these 3, all I need to do is log an activity. It selects the transactions for me up here. I can select who I spoke to, what they said. So it might be, I mean, we've got all of the excuses in the book in here, but we'll say that they're just going to pay it on the next payment run. So I can put in any additional information that Hayley's given me there. I can then create a promise to pay. So I would obviously ask, when is the next payment run? And we can work out when we'll get paid from there. So let's, just to keep it simple, say she said it's next week. I can select the amount she's going to pay. So in an ideal world, and we'll keep it simple for now, they're going to pay the entire amount. So that's perfect. And they're going to pay via bank transfer or credit card or whatever it might be. Then what I can do is create a follow-up task. So they've promised to pay us this amount. Now, if we haven't been paid by, we'll give them a little bit of time, by the following day after it was promised, what I'm going to do is make a follow-up task. So payment promised on March 20th. Obviously, the reason we'll be getting the task is because the payment hasn't been received. And I can select a time for that if I want to. I don't have to. So that's your kind of call log, and that's your scheduled task. So we'll hit save. And then I'm prompted to send a follow-up email to the customer regarding what was discussed. So if we want to just have a look at what that looks like. So this is pulling a template, and I'll come on to the templates in a moment, that we already have in Credit Hound. So again, as the collections person, I've not got to sit and think about, you know, sending out this email and typing it out after having had the phone call. I'm prompted just to send it automatically. It pulls through the person's name, the call date, the amount they promised, when it was promised by, all of the relevant information. And it even includes your call details as well. So any notes that you've included. So of course, make sure that they're customer friendly. And then you can hit send, and that goes straight out to that customer. What we do also have built into Credit Hound is an AI assistant. So this is really helpful, you know, if you're perhaps wanting to word a template in a particular way. If anybody's used ChatGPT before, you'll be familiar with, you know, you can word things brilliantly. We've had customers use it to build out templates in other languages. Yeah, you can really go wild with the AI assistant. It's really helpful. And if I just come on to the templates as well, so what you'll have done when setting up Credit Hound is created some templates. So you can see here we've got built in friendly, mild, moderate, preemptive, strong, and XYZ. And then obviously follow-up emails as well. So call summaries, and if somebody's promised a payment. And you can, again, make as many email templates as you like and use them in whatever scenario you see fit as well. Okay, so you've just logged that call. So what I'm going to do is come back into here. I can see that 9 minutes ago, I created a promise, logged a call, everything that was just recorded. Now, if I want to see where my promise has sat, so if I click into the promises tab, I can see all of our promises in here, whether they're broken, whether they've been kept, whether they're still open. All of that again is displayed there, and once again can export that to Excel. If I want to see all of my tasks, so again, the idea is as you kind of use Credit Hound on a daily basis, you're going to essentially build up a list of tasks for yourself on a daily basis, so that all you need to do is come in, log in for the day, and you know exactly who you're calling, what you're calling them about. You know, there's no more going through spreadsheets and reports trying to figure out who do we need to call next and who do we need to prioritize, because this will have been built out based off all of your other communications. Okay. What I will also point out, just to come back to the email templates as well. So what we can include on your chasing letters is a pay now button, so an instant payment link. So that's going to take your customer to, I'm just going to double check, yeah, no, we'll open it on here. So if your customer clicks that, it will bring them to something that looks like this. So they can select the invoices they want to pay if they've got a number. They can see which ones are overdue, which aren't yet due, etc., and select the ones that they want. And then they can choose their payment method. So if that's credit card, if that's ACH, whatever it might be, and then they can quickly and easily make that payment. Okay, so we work with Stripe and PayAssist over in North America, who can process those payments for you. Okay, now if I want to, let's go in here, and this is a list of all of our invoices. Okay, so if I, for example, only want to see a list of my disputed invoices, I can see that here. And if there were any notes and actions on this, I'd be able to view that as well. And the way that we would log a dispute is click the invoice in question, hit dispute, and you'll see that figure dynamically updates. If that dispute then gets resolved, I would just again select it, hit resolve, and again you see that be removed instantly, and that value then gets reduced again. Now within Credit Hound, this icon here is where your incoming and outgoing emails are kept. So this is your communications tab. So you'd have, so I can see in here, I will have outgoing emails listed. And then if someone was to reply to one, I would get a little notification icon here, and I would have emails in this section here. You can choose when you set up Credit Hound to have, if you've got a distribution email address, you can have yourselves copied in or blind copied into all collection path emails, which means that you've then still got a copy of that in Outlook as well. You can also override the fact that where the replies are sent to. So if you don't want the replies coming back into Credit Hound, that's fine. They can go into your Outlook or Gmail. But again, that just means it's not going to be housed or recorded as an email within Credit Hound. So completely up to you. Okay. What we have got here as well, so in this What's New tab, this is really great because, again, being a cloud-based product, it means we can push updates to it really quickly and easily. And this tab here gives you the option to see, on a daily or weekly basis, what new features have been released and how to use them. So this is really, really great. So it gives you a rundown of exactly what the new feature is, how to use it, how to utilize it. When we've got webinars coming up, that's obviously UK focused, you wouldn't see that. Yeah, really handy to have in that panel there. What we also have built in is a Credit Hound tool. So it's just a short video. So, if you had any new starters or anything like that who just needed kind of a quick rundown on you know, what is Credit Hound? How do we use this piece of software? It's just a short video to kind of take them through the basics, which is really useful. Okay. And that is Credit Hound in a nutshell. So I'm just going to bring my slides back up. So in terms of next steps, please feel free to give the team at Brackus Blum a call or a message, and they will be able to assist with any pricing or any environmental queries that you might have. Just to point out, our prices are increasing as of the 1st of April this year. So if you do want to take advantage of our current lower pricing, then orders would need to be placed by the end of the month, just to let you know. But, you know, we really, once you're onboarded onto Credit Hound, we do continue to work with you, really make sure that you're always getting the most out of Credit Hound, that it's always up to date, and that for the lifetime of using our software, that you do continue to see an ROI. So with that being said, have we had any questions?
No questions as of yet, but if anybody does have any, feel free to get those in the chat now. And if we're not still live here, we'll be able to answer those afterwards. I think you did an amazing job. It's hard to have questions when it works so seamlessly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a really, really nice bit of software. It's actually my favorite product to sell. I mean, one of the most common questions we'll get asked is how we license Credit Hound. So that's per named user and per company. So obviously the team at Brackus Blum can send over pricing for users and companies if you require. That's the most common question we'll get asked.
Yeah, how much is it, right?
Yeah, how much is it? Yeah, so definitely speak to the team at Brackus Blum.
Yep.
Again, yeah, just to really reiterate, our prices are going up. So if interested, definitely worthwhile getting something in place before the 1st of April.
Perfect. All right. Well, no questions yet, but hopefully we'll get some afterwards. I'd like to quickly thank Tyler. Thank you so much for your time today. We sure do appreciate it. And of course, thank you to all who attended. We know your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending an hour of it with us today, or 33 minutes actually.